Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Thursday, December 2nd, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London. And in Minneapolis, Minnesota, it's still 10:30 a.m. Our comrades are still out there. We wish you well. I hope you're getting enough food and water. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. We've got a couple of stories that came in since we put the issue to bed. The World Cup awards have come out. The 2022 World Cup host is going to be in Qatar in the Middle East. And the 2018 World Cup is going to be in Russia. Both of those are sort of upsets. The United States had actually hoped to get the nod in one of them. Of course, in Qatar, it's assumed that the temperature in the summer is going to be as high as 145 degrees, but the Qatar bid indicated that they were going to have air-cooled, open outdoor stadiums. I don't exactly know how that's going to work. But Moscow or Russia will be the 2018 World Cup site. Existing home sales in the U.S. Jumped 10% last month. That was a big number. Also, there's an announcement that came out yesterday about a press conference later this afternoon that's going to be hosted by NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, in which they are going to discuss the discovery of a new life form that they have found in, of all places, the California desert, that they believe is indicative of proof of life outside of the Earth into the extraterrestrial life zone. So this is something, while it's not necessarily at the Jodie Foster contact level, it's going to be an indication of great interest, and we'll probably watch it. Now to our main news. In Dublin, there's been an explosion, it seems. There's precious little information on this, but there was apparently a gas explosion at a cafe very near the O'Connell Street Bridge here. Here's a picture of the bridge. This is an iconic street in Dublin. The street has now been closed to traffic. The incident occurred in the Kylemore area of Dublin, where O'Connell Street is at its most broad. There's been no reports of injuries. The Irish Garda police are keeping a tight lid on this, so we don't know more than that right now. Well, we're getting some information finally from the Australian investigators of that engine explosion on the Qantas A380. It's not good. Australian officials probing last month's engine blast have warned, quote, that a critical safety issue with the Rolls-Royce 900 engines on the A380 could lead to catastrophic failure. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau said this morning that a misaligned component had thinned the wall of an oil pipe in the exploded engine, causing fatigue cracking that prompted leakage and a fire central to the engine failure. According to the report, quote, this condition could lead to an elevated risk of fatigue crack initiation and potential catastrophic engine failure. The Australian Safety Group issued a directive urging Rolls-Royce to address the safety issue and take actions necessary to ensure the safety of flight ops in planes equipped with the 900 engines. Qantas said that it has begun court proceedings to allow it to pursue legal action against Rolls if a commercial settlement is not possible. Qantas grounded all 6 of its Airbus Super Jumbos, of course, after the November 4th blast. Flights were resumed last week, although, and listen to this, we didn't know this, although the A380 has been barred by Qantas from trans-Pacific flights to Los Angeles due to the extra engine thrust required. They don't want to take a chance. Qantas said it would determine whether further action would be needed after the inspections were completed and they had consulted both Rolls-Royce and regulators. Translation, I think there's going to be a lawsuit. News from London that AXA UK has appointed Amanda Blank, currently Deputy Group CEO of Towergate, as its new CEO of Commercial Lines. The commercial unit includes AXA's UK broking unit Bluefin. Blank will report to Paul Evans, Group CEO of AXA UK. She's also going to be on the firm's executive committee. Before Towergate, Ms. Blank was a regional director for the North at AXA before leaving in '03 to become sales director at Groupama, and then she ended up at Towergate. Well, this is an interesting story. Mercer Insurance Group is located about 4 miles from where we're sitting in Pennington, New Jersey. Today they were purchased. United Fire and Casualty, based in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, said it purchased Mercer for about $191 million. Combining the two businesses, you'll now have about $605 million in net written premiums as of last year. United Fire says it will pay Mercer shareholders $28.25 a share, which is a premium of about 50% based on Tuesday afternoon's closing price. The United Fire CEO Randy Ramelow said that the merger allows the company to enter the Mid-Atlantic and West Coast markets. Following the closing of the transaction, the new company will sell policies in 24 states through about 1,400 independent agents. The other news that we have in this, independent brokers U.S.-based Lockton and Germany's Funk Group have strengthened an existing agreement to share risk management services. The newly enhanced alliance will see Funk providing risk management support for Lockton clients in Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and some Eastern European countries. Meanwhile, Lockton will provide the same for Funk in various countries around the world, including the U.S. This latest announcement extends a 15-year relationship on client service, providing mutual clients with risk management consulting, insurance brokerage, and loss prevention services. The stock market in New York is up about 105 points, and this after a pretty good day yesterday. We'll go to a word from our sponsors.
You may have already seen the demonstration of the CATEX Global Exchange in action. Some of the features of the exchange and our Pivot Point 2 software are especially useful to facultative and excess surplus lines brokers and markets. Here, we see the opening page of the contract workspace, which shows some of the details of a facultative risk as seen by the listing broker. Behind this opening page are screens which provide details of the contract of certificate, details on the parties or markets on the certificate, details of the exposures on the certificate, including aggregate data of the underlying risks, details on each of the insured risks, policy or certificate documents, including document templates, as well as automatic email links. This screen also provides links to details of the layers for brokers, the at-risk markets, premium information, policy accounting statements, the policy claims history, endorsements, and contract documents. The Pivot Point system is the backbone of the exchange platform. Pivot Point provides easy input of data as well as seamless structuring of the data into policy documents, accounting records, and statements, as well as underwriting criteria. The system allows brokers to focus their efforts on where they bring their clients the most value added, determining the appropriate layers and selecting the markets which are appropriate for the risk and layer. In these markets, timing and access to data are especially critical. For example, in a risk involving numerous properties, a broker will likely have a data file listing the properties subject to the risk. The system allows brokers to easily upload data files to the system. The exchange allows brokers to offer the risk and make sure the data are available only to markets authorized by the broker. The exchange software automatically converts the uploaded data to structured data. Markets which are interested in reviewing the risk can easily use the data to underwrite the risk. We are working on providing links to a third-party risk assessment firm which will be able to provide property-level risk of loss calculations. These are only some of the features which make the CATEX Global Exchange and our Pivot Point system especially useful to brokers and markets in the facultative and excess and surplus lines business. Please contact us for a demonstration of all the advantages you can get from the CATEX Global Exchange and the Pivot Point system. CATEX, an unfair advantage unless you are trading with us.
A story that just came in. Apparently there was a bus crash in northern Israel just a few minutes ago. 40 people were killed in the bus crash. The dead are mainly prison wardens and prison guards who were rushing to the scene of a very strong forest fire that was threatening to burn down a high security prison. The dead people were going to assist in the evacuation of the prison, and they themselves were involved in a bus accident. At least 40 people are dead in northern Israel. In South Korea, authorities have begun to cull more than 55,000 animals, that means kill them, in an attempt to contain an outbreak of foot and mouth disease throughout South Korea. The killing began this morning in areas near the southeastern city of Andong. This is where the first cases were reported from a pig farm early this week. All the livestock markets in the country have been shut down to prevent further spreading of the disease. The South Korean news agency is reporting that all farmers within a 12-mile radius of the affected livestock have been prohibited from selling any of their animals from that area. The latest outbreak could halt South Korea's export of pork products that only just began in October, about 6 weeks ago, after South Korea regained status as a foot and mouth disease-free nation. That's obviously not true. In a Madrid suburb this morning, police are confirming that masked thieves have stolen a van containing some 20 pieces of art, reportedly including works by Picasso, Colombian artist Fernando Botero, and the Spanish sculptor Chillida. Police officials said just about an hour ago that the van was taken from a warehouse near the town of Getafe on Madrid's southern outskirts. Police refused to say exactly what was stolen, but the Spanish newspaper El Mundo said that the theft included a Picasso drawing and paintings, as well as the engravings that we already mentioned. The daily ABC newspaper said that the art was valued at least 5 million euros, or 6.6 million euros. The transport company responsible for the ban had no immediate comment, but their name, in case you want to know, you might have them on your policy, is the Cristamo Transport Company, C-R-I-S-O-S-T-O-M-A, Crisostomo Transport Company. News from Holland that Aegon, the Dutch owner of Transamerica, said that it expects write-downs of about $290 million as it continues to close some of its American operations and cuts its workforce in the U.S. back by about 5%. Aegon's plan to discontinue some types of life insurance may result in a goodwill write-down of $210 million. Cutting 400 to 500 jobs in the U.S. will probably lead to a restructuring charge of about $80 million. The Dutch insurer is seeking to reduce its reliance on the U.S. market by expanding into ever-growing regions such as China and India. Aegon has said that it's considering selling its Transamerica reinsurance unit and that it's cutting costs as well at its UK life and pension operations. Well, if you can imagine this, there's a resort, we'll picture it here. This is Sharm el-Sheikh. Sharm el-Sheikh is part of the Egyptian resort in the Gulf of Aqaba, which is it runs off the Red Sea. Well, a killer shark was caught off Sharm el-Sheikh this morning, a day after it badly mauled 4 swimmers. In 3 separate incidents yesterday, this is 3 different bites, 3 Russians and 1 Ukrainian were rushed to a hospital after being attacked by a shark in reefs close to their beach hotels. The shark was about 8 feet long. It was an adult white-tipped shark. It was tracked down and captured in a large-scale effort involving 12 Egyptian Environmental Ministry specialists and 2 boats. The shark was identified by an Egyptian diver who rescued one of the tourists. He recognized the shark's damaged fin. Additional research is going to be carried out to confirm that this particular shark was responsible for those attacks. The shark is going to be sent to a taxidermist, and then it's going to be put on display in the Ras Mohammed National Park, about 12 miles away from the resort. The Egyptian Ministry of Tourism made an unprecedented decision to close all the beaches across the entire Sharm el-Sheikh coastline. According to authorities, there have been only 9 reports of attacks by oceanic white-tipped sharks on people since records began in 1580. That's like a long time ago, and only 1 of them was fatal. Fortunately, none of the incidents yesterday have proven to be fatal. There's only 1 person remaining hospitalized. But little